Hello everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. As you can tell from my voice, still a little under the weather, but I wanted to do a quick video today talking about a couple important war stories and how that war over there looks like to be expanding. So we're going to go through that really quickly here and then hopefully end before my voice gives out. So as we start up over here, we see that saboteurs say they have blown up a Russian military plane in Belarus. So is this going to bring Belarus into the war? Is this going to give a chance to expand the war, to have Belarus come from the north into Ukraine? We'll have to see, because it doesn't seem like it was from Ukrainian forces that did this, but maybe some saboteurs inside of Belarus, some anti-Lukashenko people. So let's read here. It says, a large explosion rocked, I'm not going to pronounce that, air base in Minsk Oblast in Belarus, with reports saying that a Russian aircraft had been damaged. Well, it was found out later that the Russian plane was actually destroyed. And here's the airfield. And real quickly, what type of plane? It was one of these. It was an A-50 AWACS. Basically, that's like the United States AWACS. It's the plane that's the control command center in the sky for air operations. They got a lot of intel systems on board. So they basically can, help the fighters, the jets, coordinate their attacks, sea ground movements, all that good stuff. So it's basically a giant command and control center. The Russians only have 9 of these. Now I guess they have 8 of them. So it is a pretty significant loss. And if we look here really quickly, just a little geography for everybody. Here's Belarus. We see Minsk here. The airport is just right outside Minsk. And then you can see where this lies. They're on the northern border right here on the northern side of Ukraine. Here's Russia over here. You got Poland and Lithuania. And the thought was, as we get to here, let me go on. It says, Belarus anti-Lukashenko opposition is now claiming that it was a successful sabotage operation which targeted the Russian aircraft. So these are people that are Belarusians. They don't like what the Russians are doing to Ukraine. They don't support it. They don't support Belarus supporting the Russians attacking from within Belarus. So that's what they're saying. Is that what happened? I'm sure that there'll be an investigation by Russia and Belarus. And is this their opportunity to say, well, it might have been separatists, but it was a drone attack. Did they get the drones from Ukraine? Did they get the drones from the United States or UK? Even if they didn't, is it a chance for them to say that NATO supplied the information, the intel, and the weapon system, and this anti-Lukashenko opposition, they just carried it out? That gives them all the right they have to have Belarus join the war. We'll have to see, but it could expand from the north. And it says here, the aircraft was worth 330 million euros. I said that's a significant loss. And it says right here, it's a mainstay of their intelligence gathering and command center operations. So it's a big loss, for Russia in this war. Once again, they also thought that, they said the saboteurs escaped into Lithuania and were not caught and are safe. So does that mean that Lithuania is going to get some reprisals from this? Something going to happen over there in the Baltic states? We'll see. Well, so let's continue on with the next story here. And as we do this, I'd ask please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And haven't asked this in a while, but remember, y'all can always ring that bell so you get notified when the new videos come out, so you can watch them when they're fresh and new. Appreciate everybody doing that. So going on here, we're talking about Zelensky now. He says that Ukraine is preparing to attack Crimea. And this just came out this morning, today. And it's from a news source called UK Inform, which stands for Ukrainian Inform or something like that. I wanted to check it out, make sure it's legitimate. So I did find their website. And here is Zelensky. He's answering questions. We are preparing for the attack on Crimea. So it is legitimate. This is their article. But I'm going to read it off the Zero Hedge because it's much easier to read over here. Plus, we got this cool little nifty map for us. So anyway, so on Friday, it's being reported that Zelensky said that Ukraine is preparing to launch attacks to recapture Crimea by forming new military units and sending troops to train in other countries. There are military steps that we're preparing for them. We are ready mentally. We are preparing technically with weapons, reinforcements, the formation of brigades, in particular the assault brigades of different categories and nature. They're saying that they have to train in other countries because all these weapons are coming from United States, Italy, Switzerland, Netherlands, France, UK. So they got to train these other countries on these weapons that supposedly going to use to strike Crimea. Now, he also said that there will be corresponding fair deoccupation steps. No idea what that means, but of course this is a huge thing. And Russia's always said, there's another red line. So far, every red line's been crossed, and Russia hasn't done much. So are they going to back down again? Who knows? But they have been saying that if Kiev, if Ukraine tries to get back Crimea, which is down here where the mouse is, if they try to take that back, it's no holds barred. They'll glass Ukraine. They'll go into NATO. Ukraine is totally off limits. You don't attack it. Now they've done some drone strikes on some naval vessels that are ported at port in Crimea. They've had some other drones hit some headquarters buildings. So they've kind of attacked Crimea, but nothing serious. If they do a serious attack, we'll see what the Russians do. But it could be a next step, in that ladder up of getting towards nuclear, tactical nukes or, some kind of response. But if you notice from this map, the red is Russia. This is Crimea. And the rest of the blue is what Ukraine occupies. They have to go through this giant portion of red here to get to Crimea. It says here, right here, Russia controls a good portion of territory to the north of Crimea in the Kherson Oblast. That's what I just pointed out. So they got to go through that. Or are they going to come around the side here through the water? I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't think they really have much of a navy to do that. Are they just going to do, long-range missiles, HIMARS, ATACMS, MLRS, and pound Crimea? I don't know, but, you can't take land unless you have boots on the ground. That's the oldest story in wars. You're not taking any land if you don't have boots there. So they got to get boots there. That means they got to go through here. So not sure if Zelensky's just pumping up, the Ukrainian army, doing it for, get everybody their morale, kept up morale, keep morale up, keep going. But he's putting it out there. We'll see if it happens. If it does happen, watch out. It's going to get hot fast. It says here that Russia has turned Crimea into a massive military installation. Those are legitimate targets. Ukraine is hitting them, and we are supporting that. That is from Victoria Nuland, the U.S. Secretary. Victoria Nuland is a giant war hawk. She'd probably nothing less want to see the war expand and to get hotter and spool up the military-industrial complex. So by her saying go ahead and do it is not surprising, but it's basically a red, green light from the U.S. Even though it says down here that Blinken recognized it was a red line, he's the Secretary of State. A little conflicting information there, but don't put him past him to do it for sure. And now let's go here to the next story, where it says that Russia halts the pipeline flows to Poland while shifting crude oil to Germany. So is this just a little dig at Poland from Russia? On the anniversary of the start of the invasion, Poland's been a huge supporter of Ukraine. They've been the cheerleaders saying they need weapons, more weapons, planes, tanks. Maybe we'll go invade. They've been a huge cheerleader for this. So is this just a dig at them? Russia's saying we're going to cut off your oil, just to little drive that dagger into a little bit. I don't know. We'll see if it's permanent. It could be something more. But real quickly here, we'll see that. That the company Transneft shifted oil flows from Kazakhstan to Germany via the Druzhba pipeline that runs through Poland, while shipments to Poland were halted. Kazakhstan is a landlocked country that relies on Russia to export the energy products that aren't subject to Western sanctions. So Kazakhstan oil is not under sanctions, but they're using the Russian pipeline, so I guess that's okay for the sanctions. A little loophole, I guess. And it says the northern leg of this pipeline is what goes into Germany and usually into Poland. But I guess the oil didn't go into Poland, went right past there into Germany. Like I said, is this a little dig at Poland? We'll see if it's something more. I don't know. It's just another notch in that escalation. And lastly, I want to tack on here before my voice totally gives out, and that's the amount of money that countries are sending to Ukraine, just so you can visualize how much money the U.S. is piling on compared to everybody else. As you can see from this chart here, now this is just military aid. I thought they were trying to tell us this is all the aid. They're getting $46.56 billion from the U.S. And I know it was more than that, so I kind of looked it up for you here. As you can see, the total is $76.8 billion, almost $100 billion. And they're right on that number of 46.6. This collaborates. That is just the military part. Weapons and equipment, security assistance, training, all that stuff. And there's a little bit of there's 4.7 in cash. Anything in cash, that 4.7, and this giant 26.4 billion in cash, you might as well think that's gone. That I would assume has been taken by the oligarchs, by the elites over in Ukraine, and they've confiscated it. It's into their own coffers. It's been spread around the world. Who knows what they did with it? But I doubt the country has seen any of that. I don't think any of it's gone to loans or financial support of the people in Ukraine. So you might as well just write that off. Humanitarian aid, maybe some of the food and other stuff got there, but a third of the money's probably just gone into the rich elites and spread around the world. Who knows? So that's what I get out of that. But anyway, back to this chart. You can see how big the U.S., how much money printing is going on to give to Ukraine, and buying weapons and stuff. Basically giving them all our stuff that we have to replace. We print the money to replace, to buy stuff that we're giving them. And then you can see Great Britain's next, then Poland, Denmark, Canada, and on down the line. But yes, the U.S. is the largest one here. So I think that's where I'm about end it for today. I don't think I can last much longer. So hopefully you got something out of this. Once again, a quick summary. We've got Belarus, an airport attack, supposedly by an inside job. People that are opposition to Lukashenko. Will there be pushback against NATO, the West? We'll see, because it only happened this weekend. We'll see if they use it as a reason to get Belarus into the war, which would be huge. Something to watch out for. Next, we got Zelensky saying he's going after Crimea. That would be even bigger. Watch out for that. And then we have the oil, being halted into Poland. I think that's just a dig at Poland, but we shall see. So once again, hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully my voice is better for the next video in a day or so. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.